CJ Stroud walked into the NFL and immediately became the media darling of the NFL as a rookie. He started getting MVP chances rookie season, and all that pressure piled onto him, and it's fair to say he hasn't delivered quite yet. But last season was a season full of struggle, but a season full of a lot of good as well. So I want to take you through that good as well as that bad to show you there is still a very good quarterback in CJ Stroud. Let's dive into the film. We're going to start here with the bad against the Jacksonville Jaguars. This is while we're 0-3, and the Jaguars are off to somewhat of a hot start. And CJ Stroud just kind of sails it into the DB's lap, and I'll explain why. So this DB right here, I believe, is the one that's supposed to play underneath. It's a cover two look, so you're looking to beat them with the corner route. So CJ actually diagnoses the coverage, plays it over the top. This corner just does a good job of playing off that, sinking, and getting the interception. So that was the first of two in that game for CJ. But then we move on to the Ravens game, which I thought Nick Caley did a very good job of scheming for him. This is the first touchdown of the game, I believe. Just a quick, easy throw out to Xavier Hutchinson. If you want to slow it down, you'll be able to see exactly why it works. Play action into a pivot to a quick release. You're not letting CJ think about it too much, so he's not in his head. It's a block and release for Xavier Hutchinson, which makes the DB stutter, but it allows for an easy touchdown for CJ Stroud. This is another one in that same game. It's going to be quick to start and then 0.5 second, but you can see him just throw with anticipation over the middle to Nico Collins to his favorite target against Nate Wiggins or Higgins. Just an inbreaker for Nico. You can see that CJ sees there's no linebackers there, so he's staring down that first read right away. Christian Kirk was even open over the middle part of the field there too. But we move on to a play that I thought was a really good throw by Stroud, just beating that coverage right there. Dalton Schultz sitting where it's perfect, and then CJ Stroud just combining with him at the perfect moment. You'll see right here, he's lined up kind of over that 9 tech at the edge right there. I think that's Mike Green, but Schultz just gets a good release, turns, and literally sits where that open zone is, right in between the corner, the linebacker, and where that safety was, and he's able to turn outfield for an even bigger gain. So a great throw in, with anticipation by Stroud and a great route by Schultz. This was another touchdown to Xavier Hutchinson on the day. CJ just throws a back shoulder. If you scheme it for CJ, he's going to put the ball where it needs to be, and that's exactly what he does here to Xavier Hutchinson, throwing it up top and ultimately converting there. This is my favorite play of the day, and my favorite call from Nick Caley, probably all season. You'll see Christian Kirk just beat that coverage right there over the left-hand side of the field with the play action and CJ Stroud stuttering. It reminds me of this play right here that Bobby Slowick called in a playoff game against the Cleveland Browns, where Dalton Schultz does this exact same thing. CJ Stroud able to stop, throw on a dime, and Dalton Schultz is able to cruise into the end zone. We're going to slow this Dalton Schultz one down. And you'll ultimately see why it was so effective. You see this fullback and Andrew Beck kind of blocking down. Mechie's this quick release right here, so it makes the linebackers bite. And then the safety thinks the play's flowing this way. Dalton Schultz able to just break the backside and ultimately find the end zone in a playoff game, which was pivotal for the Texans. And then you'll see this Christian Kirk one slowed down. CJ Stroud takes the snap. It's in the play action. You fake this way. Everything's motioning this way. Even Xavier Hutchinson gets cut off, but you can see everything moving this way. Christian Kirk pivots back, and it's the same exact play. Pretty similar result in terms of the yardage. Just Christian Kirk wasn't able to find the end zone ultimately, but a really nice play designed by Nick Caley for that play. Moving on to another touchdown here, this one to Jalen Noel. We need to utilize the motion a lot more this season to be successful, and CJ just able to dump it to Jalen Noel on this play. He won Offensive Player of the Week for the AFC, CJ Stroud, in this game against the Ravens because of how successful he was. And he took this momentum into this next game after that because it was the bye after the Ravens game. And then we had the Seahawks. But against the 49ers, it was his best game of the year. And he starts out with an absolute beauty of a dunk. Sorry, I was thinking this was another play, but this is what he marks here. 450, and that's something I really liked about this game with CJ. He wasn't scared to take this short yardage gain. You can see Woody just kind of gets chipped. CJ looks downfield. He has all the time in the world, but decides to just dip it to Woody Marks, and Woody Marks with the green grass is just able to run there. So really nice process by CJ looking downfield. When he has a clean pocket, he is a very, very efficient quarterback. So hopefully that is able to be the case this season with CJ because it will pay dividends for this Texans team if he does have a clean pocket. This is another instance where he has a clean pocket in a very similar concept to what they ran against the Ravens. And CJ just loves rolling right, throwing left, is what I've noticed. This one to Jalen Noel for about 44 yards, I believe. Fakes the handoff. Everything's kind of going right. and Jalen Knowles just able to cut across the screen right there, and CJ just puts it on the money. In my opinion, the Ravens and the 49ers games were his 2 best of the year, and you can see exactly why. He's just putting the ball on the money when he has time in the pocket, and he had time in the pocket in these 2 games, which I was very pleased for. This is probably one of his better throws of the year too. Just steps up in the pocket with the rusher, throws it over where the corner was sinking, and Xavier Hutchinson is able to make a really nice grab for a gain of like 20. Um, but you can see this corner at the bottom of your screen. Um, is kind of just sinking on that Braxton Berrios route, I believe is the one. And CJ's noticing that and puts it over him to a point where he's not able to get to the ball and not even able to make a play on the ball. This was one of my favorite pre-snap diagnosis from Stroud. Just knows where the linebackers are going to be, knows where the safety is going to be. With that motion, they can tell it's zone coverage because no one's following Jaden Higgins. So he's able to just kind of not stare him down, but kind of look off defenders and then latch on to Higgins and know where he's going to throw this ball. And it's just an easy throw for Stroud there. And then this was his best throw of the day, in my opinion, even better than the Nola, even better than the Hutchinson one. And this one is to Hutchinson, but I mean, you just look at that dart there. This is probably one of the best throws of the season from any quarterback. And you'll see why. So Hutchinson at the top, on the line as the receiver here. You can see it's zone coverage because the 49ers are bumping, not or no, it's man coverage, sorry, because the 49ers bumped. And Stroud just diagnoses that, steps up in the pocket, doesn't mind taking the hit because he knows his wide receiver is going to be open. He trusts his wide receiver one on one, throws with anticipation, and gets a touchdown. This is the playoff game, and this is where some of the mistakes kind of just started to show, and that's because of all this shenanigans right here. I don't understand why Nick Caley did it. We're at the 40-yard line. Nothing's really going on in this game. I mean, Hutchinson was breaking open. I don't mind it, but I would just rather you play routine. I mean, you can see it's Higgins, sorry, break open right there, and CJ's trying to throw that ball. But knowing the offensive line struggles you have, I just don't understand it, and it feeds into poor confidence from the quarterback. This is in the same game, and you can see exactly why. I don't think CJ Stroud had all that bad of a playoff time because he was dealing with stuff like this. He just has to throw the ball away, and that happened 4 times in this game, I believe. You can see he's not ready for the snap. He's waiting for Christian Kirk to pass, and Jake Andrews just releases it way too early. CJ Stroud's hands are not open at this moment, and then just skips by him. And there's four or three others in that game where CJ just wasn't able to do anything because of how bad the snap was and just had to kind of forfeit the play. So he wasn't dealing with anything that great in the playoffs, but he still had throws like this, which just amazed me with how well he kind of handled the pressure in this game. I'm not saying he handled it well in the Patriots game, but look at this throw to Christian Kirk right there. I mean, you can't throw that ball any better. This is early on in the game. But I mean, you can see Christian Kirk's gonna run an outbreaking route from the slot position at around the 14-yard line at the top of your screen. Kind of breaks that initial press. You can see Steelers kind of get into the backfield. CJ just steps up, throws, and that ball is perfect. When CJ's able to step up in the pocket, he is a very efficient quarterback. So that is something the Texans really do need to keep and take into consideration there. But a really nice throw by Stroud, and it set the Texans up in plus territory. And this was another one I just loved. Nick Caley needs to do more of this, and that is keep the offense on schedule, get these in-breaking routes that you know Higgins is great at, you know Collins is great at, and just keep the chains moving. Stroud's just able to throw with anticipation, which is rare, and it showed because Nico Collins was able to get a gain of 13 there, which really helped out the Texans because I think he was 3rd and 13. So if you want to see CJ Stroud get back to his best, I think you just really need him to stay on schedule. Have Nick Caley call those in-breaking routes. It's not going to be as exciting as his rookie year, where you see Tank Dell make big play after big play after big play, and Nico Collins making big plays, eclipsing 1,000 yards. He is going to this season, but it's not going to be this throw the ball deep. It's going to be trust your defense, let CJ Stroud stay on schedule, and allow him to be himself and just be that playmaker that we know he can be. Because when he's confident, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. And you can see glimpses of that in the game against Kansas City, as you can see him roll out right and just throw an absolute dart to Nico Collins. If he's confident he's going to be able to make these plays consistently, it's more about just keeping him on schedule so he can remain confident throughout the course of a game. And you could see that in the game against the Arizona Cardinals. This was the best our offense looked all year. And you start out with the 57-yard touchdown to Nico Collins as an in-breaking route over the middle of the field. That's exactly what I mean by this Texans team has some untapped potential if you just utilize those in-breaking routes that Nick Caley really should be looking at. You can see it's a quick snap. It's just a quick route by Nico Collins. There's no linebacker in the middle of the field. CJ just able to put it on the money where it's supposed to be. And then you have your number one receiver just break away and go score a touchdown. This is what the Texans should be looking to do next year. And that's what we did against the Cardinals, which was so successful. And that's exactly why we put up 40 points. Another throw here was where CJ Stroud had time and he's just playing confident. And you can see Dalton Schultz not able to actually come down with this one. He did catch the ball, but it was PI because he was able to just put that ball in the right spot, and Dalton Schultz just wasn't able to get his feet down. You'll see the replay here. It was an out and up by Dalton Schultz. CJ Stroud just has all the time in the world. So he's like, I might as well look downfield and just go make a play. And that's exactly what he does. He sees that open space. He runs into the open space. He sees Dalton Schultz wide open. He puts the ball exactly where it's supposed to be. Dalton Schultz able to actually catch the ball, just not get his feet down. But you can see when CJ Stroud's confident, he is an exceptional quarterback. And this is another touchdown in that game to Dalton Schultz this time that actually counts, where he's able to just step up, roll out, and just find his receiver perfectly. CJ Stroud's a great quarterback when it comes to improvising, and that's something that's rare among quarterbacks in the league, and that's why I think he's going to have such a successful season. If the offensive line is able to hold up more than it is in this play right here, and CJ Stroud's able to just step up in the pocket rather than have to roll out, then he's going to be such a successful quarterback, and I can't stress that point enough. You can see it on the film. And this is the last one, another in-breaking route where Nico Collins is just able to beat his corner, break into the middle of the field. CJ puts it exactly where it needs to be, and it's going to be another touchdown for the Texans. You can see pre-snap, CJ, I think, knows where he's going. He snaps the ball, and he kind of just looks right the entire time, knowing Nico's going to beat his man. Starts left, looks right, and just snaps. Just like that. Looks right, snaps, throws the ball, because Nico Collins is able to beat his man so effectively every single time. So, do I think CJ Stroud's winning MVP? No, but I think he could be a top 8 quarterback next season. A revamped O line after revamped O line, and offensive coordinator after offensive coordinator is not going to take a great toll on a brand new quarterback. He's only 23 going into his age 24 season. He's got a lot of room to grow, a lot of room to improve, and he has an ultra high ceiling, which we saw untapped potential of his rookie season. So I think he's going to be great. Let me know what y'all think down in the comment section below. What do you think his stats are going to be next season? I'm going 4,000 yards, 27 touchdowns, and probably 8 interceptions around there. More than 4,000 yards, but I'm saying 4,000 as a minimum. Let me know what y'all think down in the comment section below. If you did enjoy this video, please be sure to like, subscribe. And as always, it's Texans Takeover, and I'm out. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.